Welcome to the Infrastructure Network, the media company that provides a wide range of market research and intelligence services that help businesses and government agencies stay informed and make informed decisions about their infrastructure.
Thank you for joining me on this today, John. I know you're a busy guy. It's a lot to do, so just kind of want to hop into a few questions first. So my first question is, can you tell me about your career and kind of how you got into public works, your whole life cycle, education, all that type of stuff?
Yeah, so actually, public works was not my first career choice. I went to school to be an agronomist, actually, and started my career in the ag world. Started in retail ag, working as I wouldn't say sales agronomist because I was more on the operations side, but started as an applicator and then worked my way up to a plant manager. I ran a regional agronomy center that serviced 11 different locations up in north central Iowa. Really enjoyed doing that. I grew up as a farm kid. Been around farming all my life. So that was my passion and the pursuit that I had. Got married, started a family, decided that working 18 hours a day for 9 to 10 months out of the year probably wasn't the best for my new family. So, and actually, my dad had started having some health challenges and I wanted to get a little bit closer to home. So I just kind of started looking for jobs around the Des Moines area and just happened to run across a Des Moines Register classified ad for the city of Clive over on the western side of the metro. They were looking for an operator. I was one of 91 applicants that they had back at the time, and somehow by the grace of God, they chose me. I had a background of equipment operation background, so that helped me get my start. But as far as what public works activities, I kind of had a little bit of an idea, take care of the streets, make sure the water comes out of the tap, make sure the sewer goes down where it needs to go. But other than, the details of all that, I was green and had no background in it. But I worked with a great group of guys over there, had a lot of great mentors. My director over there was a man by the name of Bart Weller. Learned a ton of stuff from him. And he's really kind of the reason why I'm where I'm at today. He actually pushed me to take this position when it did open up for me here. And the other, a lot of the other people that I worked with when I was at Clive really helped get me to where I am today. I worked there for just shy about 14 years.
Yeah.
Before I decided to take this leap, and I've been here with the city of Bondurant as their first ever public works director since February of 2018. So almost 6 years now. So.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I've been part of Bondurant my whole life, and it's just crazy how much it's grown. So I'm sure you've definitely been a part of that whole ordeal with it growing so quickly, and I'm sure with all your public works, it's been a lot of rewarding things and difficult times during the whole time. But kind of what's the most rewarding aspect in public works for you personally?
Well, for me personally, it's just the public service side of it. I've always been a service-oriented person. That's how I was raised. Just being able to know that I'm in charge of taking care of the infrastructure and making sure that everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. A lot of people don't realize the things that we do on a day in and day out basis to make sure that their daily lives function just as they normally would. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that myself and my colleagues all over the industry and public works do behind the scenes and in the shadows to make everyone's daily life, seamless for them. So, and obviously they do run into us on occasion when things do flip up on their ear, as they would say, when it comes to situations that do arise. But everybody that I've ever been worked with or been associated with in this industry, when those times arise, that's when they really step up to the plate and make sure that everything gets back to normal as fast as it can. So,
All right. So yeah, it's good stuff. So managing it all. Right now I'm part of a management course at DMAC right now. So learning all the managerial roles and stuff. And it's kind of a good position you got for it for managing. So kind of what are some good tips you have for like managing, being able to help lead a group of people to get that common goal of making sure the infrastructure in Bondurant is just up to par?
absolutely. As far as being a good manager, I'll start there. I was taught early on, be a good listener.
Yeah.
Listen to what the issues are. Try to take in as much information that you can, and that allows you as a manager to make the best informed decision to rectify the situation or make an informed, educated decision on how to move forward. As far as infrastructure wise goes, yeah, in what we do, I mean, obviously, everything we do is funded by the taxpayer. So we do everything that we can to be as fiscally responsible in all of our activities by making sure that we track our expenses, to the penny, making sure that we're being as efficient as we can be in everything that we do. I'll be honest, in a rapidly growing community, going from a small town to a major suburb, has been a challenge. There's a lot of playing catch up with that, and there's some, if we would take a poll of our residents, I would pretty much venture to guess that some of the quality of life things that other communities have that we do not have or want, or some of those things that they want. It's not that we don't want to provide those to the citizens. It's just figuring out how to, again, going back to that being fiscally responsible of making sure that we do things right the first time.
Yeah.
That we don't paint ourselves into a corner and we don't grow without thinking into the future. That's what the staff here, and since I've been here in Bondurant, from city council all the way down through city administrator and all the rest of the staff, we really look and are mindful of making sure that we're doing projects and doing them properly, to one, lessen the impact, and two, try to make things as efficient and get projects done as quickly as we can. So
Yeah, that's a good point. I've been kind of researching the whole governments and contractors all working together, and I mean, I've noticed the multiple problems, like things just not getting done the first time, and that just causes major issues with budgets and all of that.
Yeah.
So managing a budget for the city, I mean, that's got to be one of the hardest things, would you say, or am I just wrong about that?
No, challenging. I would say hard. It's challenging for sure. There's, most people don't realize that when it comes to a city budget, there's different categories that where some of that tax-based dollars come from. We can't necessarily take road use funds and build a park with it. That's not what road use funds are for.
Yeah.
Road use funds are designed specifically for road infrastructure projects. Same way with the water utility and the sewer utility. Those funds that come into those categories are those dollars that go back out are for that specific piece of the infrastructure. And that's one of the things that most people don't fully realize is that yeah, there might be money coming in, and there might be, this great big warehouse building that goes up, and you would think that, oh gosh, there's all kinds of tax money coming in. Well, there's different parts and pieces on how that all fits together,
Yeah.
and that's what our job is to be able to manage that and making sure that we are looking forward into the future. We have that vision, that game plan, that comprehensive plan that the citizens help put together, and it's our job as staff to be able to figure out, okay, we can do this year, we can do this the following year, and making sure all those parts and pieces are lined up, and the checkbook at the end of the day is still balanced and has a positive number in it. So
Yeah, I'm thinking just with all the big growth of Bondurant, like it had to be a little bit difficult to kind of just manage all that together with the new schools. Like ever since I've been Bondurant my whole life, got 2 new schools with a brand new junior high is what they call it now. There's many different names for it. So like they expanded the road right there, and just thinking and just quickly growing. You got to think on the go and keep changing and adapting, which Bonner, you guys are doing a good job at it. I've got to give you kudos to that. I mean, it would be difficult. I mean, I've been researching this for a little bit, and it's crazy. So kind of my next question is, like, how do you manage emergencies, say like a water main break, like quick emergencies, you just got to get it done, fixed? How do you kind of go about that?
Yep. So obviously, when we have those types of situations, public health is the utmost important piece of that puzzle. So we want to make sure that the integrity of the water system stays safe. So we do everything that we can to maintain positive pressure when a water main situation does come up. And in doing that, that doesn't allow dirt, debris, and bacteria to be able to get into the water main itself, because inside of the water mains that are in the ground, obviously they're clean, they're disinfected, and then all the water, it gets treated and has disinfectant in it as it's traveling through the system before it comes out the tap. So in a main break situation, obviously, we want to maintain positive pressure, but we also want to be cognizant of the water loss that we've got going on.
Yeah.
We know that it's going to happen, and we factor those situations in when we do our budgeting. We do factor in a certain percentage of water loss every year to try to help balance that. And obviously, we do everything that we can to be able to maintain the system to a point where we try to minimize those situations. But we live in Iowa. We have a freeze-thaw cycle that happens quite often, and they're inevitable. The biggest thing is just making sure that we respond in a timely manner. Try to be as quick and as efficient as we can when it comes to getting them dug up and getting them repaired as quickly, as fast as we can. Because most of the time, when we do have to do a repair, we do have to shut a small part of the system off to be able to make that repair, or at least throttle it down to a point where people might not be getting water out of the tap, but the thing that I always make sure that I tell our residents is, the water is technically off, but there's still water in the pipe. We're still maintaining positive pressure in the system itself. You're just not there's not enough pressure in the system. Actually, when you turn your faucet on or flush your toilet, there's just not enough pressure to make that happen. So when those situations do arise, we try to do as much communication with those residents that are affected as we can. Social media is one of those platforms that we try to use that kind of seems to touch pretty much everybody anymore. Everybody's on Facebook or follows our community discussion page or things like that nature. So that really helps us get the message out quickly. But we do, if we do get into a situation where we would have to issue a boil load, where we as operators felt that we did everything that we could, but there was a chance that bacteria or something did get into the system, we always err on the side of caution.
Yep.
That's our responsibility as operators, licensed operators, to make sure that the integrity of the system is safe. So if there's any inclination that we think that the system might have been compromised, we will go ahead and issue a boil order, and then we physically make contact either face to face or with a big bright door hanger on each affected residence when those situations occur, because we want to make sure that people are safe.
Mm-hmm.
And we take that very seriously. So it's we work really hard to make sure that we provide safe, potable drinking water for everybody, and again, do everything we can to try to maintain it in the system, so we don't have those situations. But we know that they are going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah. So you mentioned listening to the community and stuff like that. So all the time I hear people saying, we want a dog park, we want a pool. Yeah, yeah. I'm just giving an example. Yeah, we got a dog park. I know that, but so how often, so you guys listen to the community all the time as well, but so kind of how do you go into the decision of making the right move and fitting that into the budget as well? Like what's wanted and kind of just listening to the community as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of wants and needs, obviously, with everything. I get it. Myself as a resident, there's things that I'd love to see here in town too. But I also kind of understand the backside of how things work. We try to do the best we can and communicate those situations. And when we do those planning processes, the last several years, we've gone through several big, large scale planning processes when it comes to like our Central Park Master Plan. We just did the whole city comprehensive plan as well. And then we did a Central District Stormwater Master Plan that includes a 112 acre recreational.
Yeah. Yep.
Part of that is a skate park. We've heard that there's that in between age that we need to try to capture and give those kids something to do. And so we put out a poll, and hey, a skate park was one of the things that popped up. And we've got a great example that Polk County just constructed. I believe it's to this date still the largest skate park in the U.S. Right downtown,
Yeah. Yeah. That one's huge.
And it was the largest at one time. It might not be anymore, but a great example to be able to run downtown and look at it and try to scale something back. So we made sure when we did the Central District Stormwater plan, we've got a great spot for it. When we try to redesign those roads, we're going to have just kind of a dead area. And like, hey, this would be a great spot for it. And we've actually got our first donation for the skate park the other night. Story Kenworthy gave the city $10,000 to go towards that skate park. So again, a lot of those planning processes, we try to communicate as much as we can with the public. Hey, give us your input, give us your feedback. We try to have public meetings from time to time when we're engaging in those processes and listen to what people want and try to come up with the best solution for everyone. And then we back into that and go, okay, here's kind of the plan that everybody put together. And then, okay, now how do we fund that? And can we fundraise, and can we go after grant money? And that's a lot of what we do as staff, is we write a lot of grants to be able to bring in outside sources to be able to fund these projects and get them off the ground. I know a great example of that is the underpass that we just put in, the pedestrian underpass. Gosh, my family moved here in 2010, and they were talking about it before we even moved here. So that project's been in the works for almost 20 years.
Jeez.
So, and it's taken a long time, but every piece of that project has been funded from grant dollars. So, outside of the city budget, and that's almost a $4.5 million project. So, it takes a it takes a while and a few years to get all of those grant cycles put together to be able to fund projects, large scale projects like
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I got some definitely good things coming to Bondurant. When I saw that, the whole Central Park deal, I thought that would have been a pretty good location for it. I mean, and really nothing there. And then it was for stormwater. What's that exactly? I'm just trying to learn more.
so there's going to be many different pieces to that. One of them is transportation connectivity. That's a really bad intersection. We've been noted from us, the DOT, everybody. We're trying to make that intersection much safer than it is currently by stretching that roadway out. And the other piece of that is the bridge that is on the old Grant Street South.
Yep.
Was built in 1924.
Jeez.
It's 97 years old.
Yeah.
So it's time for replacement. So so we need to build a new bridge. We probably need to upgrade the roadway. To be able to build the roadway, it's kind of a low area. So if we need dirt to build a roadway, let's dig a big hole in the ground. And if we're going to dig a big hole in the ground, let's make it a really cool amenity that everybody, not just people in Bondurant, but people across the entire region.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's where that whole master planning process started. And we hired a consultant to come up with that plan. It's going to, again, improve transportation connectivity, provide a fantastic amenity for everybody here in Bondurant and the region. It'll be a roughly 36-acre lake for fishing, paddleboarding, things of that nature. The lake itself will also serve as a stormwater detention facility that will improve water quality along the Mud Creek corridor, which is terribly needed right now. That's Mud Creek is one of the hot spots when it comes to nitrates and everything actually making their way through the tributaries and down into the Skunk River and down to the Des Moines and actually ending up in the Gulf of Mexico. So that project by itself, massive project, and it's going to take a few years to get it up and moving, but will hit many different facets of what the community needs as far as all those different things put together. So.
All right. So obviously it's going to take a lot of manpower to make that whole thing function at the end of the day. So I've been learning a little bit about procurement and government procurement. So kind of what are your thoughts on procurement? How is it for you? Is it challenging? So what do you think about it?
It's definitely been challenging, coming out of the COVID pandemic. There's just been a massive backlog in the supply chain. The largest piece that we're struggling with right now is chassis and equipment, like pickups and large truck chassis. And it's not so much the frames and the motors. It's just all of the little computer components to make all of those put together. To be able to, and again, it's getting better, but there's just been so big of a backlog that it's going to take a long time for that pipeline to get filled back up. It's definitely incredibly challenging right now. So we ordered a combination sewer jetback truck a year ago next week, and just got word from the salesman the other day that they finally have the chassis in hand at the factory and are going to start building it. So it's been that long of a process for that type of thing. So our interview's coming to an end here, it seems like. Kind of a final question is, what do you kind of see for the future of Bondurant? Just kind of give me your outlook on that. I mean, it's growing, obviously. Just kind of what do you think about it, and what do you love most about the community as well? Yeah, it's like you said, it's definitely growing, which is, from our standpoint, it's a good problem to have. If you're growing, that means you're doing something right. because people want to come live in your community. They want to come, they want to send their kids to your school district. That's, it's one of the other things that I forgot to mention. We work really closely with the school district to make sure that the growth that we do see coming in, making sure that they're out in front of it and can plan on their side as well when it comes to their needs as well. So that collaborative effort of trying to make sure that everything runs as smoothly as we can. But yeah, we've seen a little bit of a downturn. And I think that's just kind of an economy thing when it comes to building houses right now.
Yeah.
It's probably going to rebound. 2023 is probably going to be hit and miss, a little slow. Just interest rates are kind of wackadoodle right now. So I think everybody, like developers and just people in general, are kind of holding off on big purchases,
Yeah.
We want to build a new house, but maybe not, maybe let's let interest rates come back a little bit. But we're going to continue to grow. Just the way the entire metro is growing. It's just and kind of an inevitable thing to happen. Sorry, a little tongue tied there. But our biggest thing is making sure that we grow properly, making sure that everything's done right the first time, that we can make sure that we have the transportation corridors set. We've done a good job of master planning that. When development does come in, people realize that, hey, you can't have this entire parcel because, hey, there's a roadway that needs to go here. To be able to have better connectivity for people to get through town. That's one of the things in the past that Bondurant's kind of lacked is some connectivity. We've had things that have happened in the last few years that really shed light on that, and we take that to heart, and we're actively working on trying to fix those issues, but it does take time.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, yeah, no, a great place to live and work. Couldn't ask for a better community to be a part of. It's we really. It's not the council adopted a motto here not too long ago of not small town but hometown feel. We're definitely not a small town anymore, but we still do that. We have that hometown type of feeling.
Yeah.
When it comes to like even a lot of the businesses that are coming to town are really family run small businesses, and we embrace that. And, we try to make plans and when we do redevelopment projects of making sure that we look at those first, so we can try to keep that hometown feel of, hey, everybody knows everybody, and your neighbors are, you get together and you have your block parties and just a sense of community.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I do that I know my family loves about Bondurant and always has, is just how much the community does, kind of stay together. So
Yeah. It's a great town for sure. Well, thank you, John, for joining me on the interview here. I mean, it was a great conversation. It was love to hear your input on things, and just thank you very much for coming on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.